All right, what's up, y'all, people? Today is going to be a sound check of the Votomy VT360 Bluetooth speaker. This speaker I got from Amazon for $30. The reason I bought it, it's $30, and apparently, according to people like O's Gadget, they sound pretty okay. But at the time, I think he reviewed it, it was like $70, which is way too much. But then again, for $30, I don't think anything at that price point would rival this, because at that price point, you'd be able to get a Tribit X Sound Go, which is smaller and does not sound as good. This thing is comparable to a JBL Charge Essential or the Charge 3. In fact, it's actually a clone of a Charge 3. It has two full-range drivers in the middle and two passive radiators on the side. If you know a little bit about Bluetooth speaker, and if you're like maybe a JBL Flamboy or something, you must have heard of Infinity. Infinity, I think it was a Fuse 700 or whatever. It's basically a rebrand of the Votomy. So it's got to have some quality in it. And yes, indeed, I did take it apart, and it is pretty well built. And I will be doing like a full review, taking this whole thing apart and doing some extra sound tests and all that, using the Votomy as well. And this video, though, I'm just going to be comparing this with other speakers like the One More, which I will also do a review of, the Sony XB33, same, and the Bose SoundLink Revolve. This thing I got on eBay, by the way, and it was like a bundle of 12 random speakers, and this came with it. It was broken, but Bose fixed it for me, so it's also added into this whole comparison thing. Let's get to it, I guess. All right, so the first thing I will be comparing this to is the Bose SoundLink Revolve. I'll try to match its volume. Keep in mind, this is a 360-degree speaker, and this is not, so it isn't really, that comparable. But we're just taking a listen to the sound quality right in front, when you're sitting in front of the speaker. So, yeah, let's start by using a, typical O's Gadget test song. We're gonna see if it distorts, because this song is like very bass heavy and all. So let's start there. I've prepared a few different songs, and then again, I don't own these music, so props to whoever made them. And let's start this. All right, I'm gonna go to a different song right now. The song is called KK Cruisin' by the Consouls. Then again, this is all, I wouldn't say this is not, it's just not in the YouTube music thing, and YouTube's not gonna strike me for like copyright shit. But then again, I don't own these songs, so props to whoever made them. Let's move on to the next song. I'll be turning up the volume a little bit, okay? As you can see, it's got deep bass, but when it's at higher volumes, it starts distorting. Whereas you see the Bose plays it pretty clean. Although there is some artifacts, but that's not really due to the speaker playing at its limit. It's due to the acoustic lens inside there because it's a 360-degree speaker. It's making it sound kind of weird. Alright. See that boop 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 sound on the bass? That's distortion. There you have it. Alright, I'm gonna switch on to the next song. This song's called Good for the Love. Then again, I don't own this. Good for the love and the love for you to do. But it is not the same thing in your relationship. But it is not the first party you want. And I think I'm a good friend of mine. Good for the love. Good for the love. But it is not the first party you want. And I think I'm a good friend of mine. Ready for a great day. Yeah, alright, so as you can see, this, well, the vocals drowned out. And this, it sounds recessed. I don't know. I mean, it's a 360 degree. Then again, it's got a lens in there. That's probably why it sounds recessed. But this, the vocals on this sounds very drowned out. All right, I'm gonna move back for a little bit. I'm gonna crank these to the maximum. I'm gonna see how loud it goes. All right.
And a great idea to make it happen again. And I don't even think it will happen. You can see that I get in the way. And you know I will be in the same.
All right. So as you can see, I think the Votomy gets a little louder, but then again, I really wouldn't say. I mean, it gets a little louder. It keeps a little more bass, but the Bose, it sounds very boosted. I don't know if you feel that. It sounds very, very boosted. Like it's very mid-focused for some reason. It's probably to boost the volume because it's a small speaker. So, yeah, there you have it. That's the first set of comparison. Let's move on to the next one. All right, here's our second comparison set. The One More versus the Votomy. Okay, let's start from... Which one am I at now? Oh, let's start from the One More right now, all right? Okay, same songs. Let's go. I'm sure you could already tell the One More is very bassy. Very, very bassy. It helps a little bit if I set the speaker towards the microphone. Let me do that. Alright, there's a roll of toilet paper, and it's gonna help me setting the speaker facing the microphone. Let's keep on playing the speaker. Oh god, that sounds a lot better. Alright, I'm gonna actually crank these up using this song, because I know for a fact that if I crank it up using this song, something's not gonna sound right. Let's go. Oh god. It's actually fine when it's playing at maximum volume though. Very controlled, no distortion. Let's go. Alright, yeah, so as you can see, the Votomy plays plays louder, quite a bit louder actually. I was surprised. I was not expecting that. But the One More is a lot more controlled. It doesn't sound as harsh and as pushing, especially at like 80% volume. The One More just doesn't distort. It just does the same thing, just, you know, perfectly fine. Whereas the Votomy, well, wow, the 80% was fucked up. It was like just drowning, the bass is drowning everything up, and then it sounds terrible. And then when you crank it up to maximum, it's actually all right. Well, for the One More though, I'm actually surprised, because with how much bass it has, it doesn't distort that much. Whereas the Votomy, it's questionable. Anyways, it's $30 and the One More $60. So you get 2 Votomys for one More. So expect a little distortion. Of course, you can EQ it down and all that, but still, I know a lot of people don't even know how to do that. So just keep in mind that the Votomy is not a clean sounding speaker at high volumes. It's more suitable for low volume listening, but it gets very loud. All right, next song. It's back at half volume now, just so you know. The bass here, though, that's what I was trying to say. The bass is it's got a lot of bass. And the bass is mostly upper bass. So it's like... Whereas, I mean, it's not distortion, but it's just not natural bass. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Alright, next song. Still the one more playing. Alright, this is surprisingly good. Wow. For some reason, this song sounded really good on the one more. I thought it was going to be way more drowning.
Great idea to make it happen again.
All right, yeah, there you have it. That's the one more speaker comparing to the Votomy. I mean, at this point, it's more of a preference thing. Which one do you like more? I felt like both is pretty okay, but if you want me to pick, I'd go for the one more. Despite it doesn't go as loud, it doesn't have as much distortion, it sounds just more controlled, although the boomy bass. But if you're taking it outside, you want that boom, because outdoors is not like indoors. There's no walls to reflect the sound. So if it's boomier, it actually sounds better outside. And one more, despite being boomy, it's not like out of control boomy. It's still got control. It's still fine. It's just very boomy. You can compare it to the Bang Olufsen Bailplay A1, which is just as boomy. And to be honest, I mean, it's also kind of a 360-degree speaker. So, yeah, I guess. All right. I'm going to move on to the last speaker today, the Sony SRS XB33. All right, so the XB33 is actually a good Bluetooth speaker. It's one of the, everyone thinks it's pretty decent. And it's actually pretty popular as well, just like the JBL Charge 5. Does it compare well against the Votomy? Well, it better. It's like, what, 4 times the price? I don't know. I'm going to start from the Oluf's Gadget, the song Analog, like I always do. Oh, you hear that distortion? It's only half volume. It's kicking in. Oh, God. Jesus Christ, man. Well, you get what you pay for, and I'm telling you. I'm gonna crank it up. So as you can see, both speaker gets pretty loud. Actually, it's quite comparable in terms of loudness. I am very surprised. Alright, Now that I'm at this point, I must say, I think Votomy did a software update or firmware update on their Votomy, on their VT360. This is probably a different version from the one Olaf tested, because I remember Olaf's version does not get this loud. I had the Tribit Max Sound Plus. I shorted the battery when I took it apart, so it's broken now. But still, I used to have it. I did crank it up to the maximum. It does not get as loud as the XP33. It does not. So I am surprised. I think they did a pretty good job in that. And it, at maximum volume, it actually plays pretty clean and retains quite a bit of bass, comparable to that of the XP33, although maybe a little bit less lower deep bass. But still, that's pretty. It's pretty amazing, I have to say. I mean, I'm very surprised by how good a $30 speaker could do. Let's move on to the next song. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. All right. Anyways, it's a little quick comparison with all four of these speakers. I'm gonna do a little sum up real quick. Let me arrange everything up. All right. So yeah, after messing around with all these speakers and doing a little sound check of all of these, I figured that the Votomy actually holds its own against all four of the other speakers, despite being like at least half as cheap. The one more $60. The Bose is $200. The Sony is like $130, $130. It's cheap. It's good. So like, if you want a Bluetooth speaker that's cheap and it's decent, get it. Although there are actually flaws, which I will talk about in the review. I mean, other than that, if you could cope with that, I'd say this is really good. Well, at least you already know one of the flaws. It's just crappy sound, actually. Crappy sound in medium volumes, and like from 50 to 80%. That is like that range. It sounds pretty bad because it's distorted. Especially the bass is very uncontrolled. But at maximum volume and at low volumes, it sounds very, very good. It sounds actually, in my opinion, better than all of these except for the XB3, or maybe on some tracks, the one more. It's definitely better than the Bose, but then again, you can't really compare it that way because this is like, it went through a deflector acoustic lens thing, so it's like more of a 360-degree speaker, whereas the Votomy does not play 360 degrees. You turn it around, it sounds like ass. So, I'd say it's pretty decent. I mean, if it's, I think it's $27.99 on Amazon right now. If you could get it if you could get it at that price, I'd say it'd be a pretty good bargain. If you can't, I'd say I wouldn't pay more than $50 for it. Though it does get very, very loud, but it's got some flaws. I don't know if Votomy is gonna fix it in future firmware updates or whatever. I don't even know if the USB port is capable of supporting the firmware updates, like a UART protocol thing. I don't even know if the USB port supports that. I doubt it. So like you probably won't be able to update this crap. But then again, decent speaker. I'll do a little teardown video about it though. What else do I want to say? Sound quality stuff. Anyways, last thing though. This is a recording on YouTube, so take it as a grain of salt. Okay, I'd say it sounds good because I like speakers. I've heard quite a few different speakers, and I know a little bit about DSP stuff. And I'm doing electrical engineer shit, so I'm into that crap. But take it as a grain of salt. It's best that you listen to it yourself. I mean, it's Amazon, man. You can just order it and return it if you don't like it. So, there you have it. I guess that's it.